Hello? Am I live? Sorry for the flip. Yep, I am. Okay. Just checking. Hi. This is Sandy with Needs a Ribbon, and I'm coming to you late on Saturday night of whatever, February 3rd, I guess. Late on Saturday night. And this is part of my challenge to go live every day the month of February. And I have decided to break that up to half the days on Instagram and half the days on Facebook. Odd days on Facebook right here. The other half days on the even days on Instagram. So yesterday was my first time going live on Instagram, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time. But it was my first time going live on Instagram. It was a process. I have a lot to learn. That's okay. I'm always up for a challenge. Anyway, this is what I did live on Instagram yesterday. It uses the, not Trusty Tools, Trusty Toolbox Designer Series paper. And sorry about the crinkle and all that. It is late. I am actually tired. It's been a busy day, which is part of why I'm late. So the Trusty Toolbox paper is on some page of the Sale-A-Bration brochure, or if you're an online shopper, no page, but it's on page 10, 11, or really page 11 of the US Sale-A-Bration brochure, or whatever. This is the paper. Head on over to Instagram to catch that reel, which apparently it posts as once you go live. Again, I'm learning. Because I went over the paper, all the paper. I'm not going to do that tonight. I do not want to take any more of your time than is necessary. It's going to be somewhat shorty, and I'm a lot more prepared. I did a lot of fussy cutting yesterday because, again, this was my card, and I fussy cut all of those up. I really like this card, and I shared some tips on how to use the dots and spots die so you get a perfect edge every time. That's the inside. Anyway, so I thought, well, rather than keep the Facebook audience out of the loop, and the paper coordinates with the product suite, page 11, I have to go back, coordinates the Trusty Tools bundle in the mini catalog, which is page 56 in the US. Elsewhere, globally, can't tell you. I don't know. Anyway, I thought rather than cheat each group out of a project, at least some of the time as I do my challenge, spazzy. I had a lot of caffeine earlier. Rather than cheat everyone out of the cards, I'm going to do a somewhat coordinating project to this, and we'll do that several times throughout the month, where Facebook gets one version and Instagram gets a different one. I just thought, why do I have this? I have no idea why I have a loose piece of, I don't know. Anyway, I actually took some time last night too, and while I pull out my supplies, and you see how I got everything nice and ready for you, and did some tidying. My rule, sorry about the crinkle, my rule is I want to get, and I've had the money set aside for 3 years for the Cricut Maker 3 or Explorer 3. I think I'm leaning toward the Maker 3. For that long, I know what a patient person I am. Yes, actually I am. Anyway, my rule to myself was, I need to tidy up in here before I get it. That being said, my daughter's birthday was a little over a week ago, something like that, sometime recently. And she got the Cricut Joy Extra for her birthday. And I thought, well, she kind of jumped into the Cricut world way before me. Not going to say I'm jealous. She's having a ball with it. She was off the first. I don't know if she slept the first night she had that thing. That was funny. She just texted me in the middle of the night, Mom, look at this. And it's like, I'm sleeping, but okay. You do you, honey, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. But part of what I'm trying to bring up with that is do you see how I mounted that? For those that don't know. My card, that's the other thing. Yesterday's card had 0 stamping, 0 ink. Notice that? 0 stamping, 0 ink. I think it's good to push our boundaries and do that once in a while. Tonight's card, obviously, will have some. And black ink, memento. Anyway, so yeah, she got the Cricut Joy Extra. And if you watched yesterday's, or if you've watched me, you'll know the tip. Fold it. Not that it matters, the cardstock, you really can't tell. Fold it outside in and inside out. And then, if you want, if it's still not laying flat, give it a little burnish with your bone folder. And it'll lay pretty flat. And sorry, my hands are icy cold right now. We've been out running errands on and off throughout the day. We've been home and out and home and out. Whew, I'm tired. So I like to work, another reason to go back in yesterday, I like to work with my cards from, I generally go inside out, or I'll start on the outside. This is just a card liner, no big deal, just white cardstock. So my card base is gray granite. I should talk about that. Kind of all over the place. Again, I'm tired, it's late, had a really busy day. So it's gray granite, 5.5 by 8.5, cut, you know, scored in half, 4 by 5.25 liner. And yes, I have something for the inside. I just realized that. Yep, that's okay. So on the outside, I made a, I can't even remember what my plan was now. Oh yeah, it's gonna go landscape. Again, I planned this yesterday. So we have this kind of fasteners, which is nuts and bolts and whatever you want to call it, paper that's gray granite and white. So that's going to be my card layer. And we're going to go ahead and put that on. And that's 4 by 5.25. And next, we're going to take some of the paper from the Trusty Toolbox Sale-A-Bration paper. They had this great, hopefully I'm in camera or somewhat so you can see it, this great ruler paper, the vintage ruler. My dad had one of these wooden rulers that would, each foot would fold out, you know, and it would full close would be like, you know, I don't know what it was, 10 feet, and it's folded, something like that. Some crazy thing, but yeah, that's what it reminds me of, and I'm sure that's part of what their thinking was. The old-fashioned, old-style wooden rulers, not rulers. Wow. Take a deep breath, Sandra. It's going to be okay. I'm not nervous. I'm just tired and caffeinated, which is its own shade of crazy. Okay. I wanted to put this on a black layer. So the layer is 1 inch by 5.25. The paper, I believe, cut down to 3/4 of an inch by 5.25, if I remember right. If you're following along or want to make this card. So 3/4 inch. Again, I chopped out a very, it's too hard to get it out. Chopped out a very specific section of the paper that I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and, actually to make sure, so I want this, why did that stick to my finger? I like to center my paper along that, when I use grid paper, this is part of why I use grid paper, is then I center my card along that, and that way I know that's kind of my centering. I know I get 2 grids on either side on that end, and this, so 1/2 inch either way, or close to it You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's generally. And I want my ruler facing down like this. So, whew, that looks off-center. It's not, but yeah, some, you know, from certain angles it looks off-center. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do my stamping. So, the greeting, I am using the Trusty Tools that goes with the paper. Again, this is in the mini catalog on page something or other. Doesn't matter if you're not a paper catalog user. If you're online, it's called Trusty Tools. It has a die bundle that goes with it that's called Trusty Tools Dies. But I'm going to go ahead and use the greeting, "You're the most awesome." And so I've cut that 1 inch by 2 1/4, I believe. Yep, 2 1/4. So the black is 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. The layer. We're going to go ahead and ink that up. And if you saw how I prepped, I used the back of my hand. Surprised that it unsticked it because, well, I suppose because my hands are so dry right now. Ugh. And I'm going to center that on my white. That's the only stamping. We only need a little bit of black ink and a little bit of stamping. Looks nice. Very nice and crisp. I'm going to set that aside for a minute. Now, after what happened on my live on Instagram yesterday, lesson learned again. Doing lives are new for me, but doing some of this stuff is newer. I have to figure out if I'm going to do this all month, my format, because I don't want to spend a lot of time. I fussy cut out some of the tools from the Trusty Toolbox Designer Series paper, the Sale-A-Bration item. I pre-cut some of them, and I thought I'll only fussy cut one of them. There are dies that coordinate with some of the images in the paper. I have not used the dies, actually. I know, crazy, isn't it? I've been waiting for this, but as the month goes on and as time towards Father's Day and whatnot draws near, I will probably be using this a lot more. I've had a lot of other new products to play with, and now you can see why I did not fussy cut any more than just the one item live, because it took forever yesterday, and they were particularly challenging items. Because it was like, yeah, it was a hacksaw. So a lot of teeth. Yeah, you guys don't need, if you know how to fussy cut, you know how to fussy cut, but you don't need to sit and watch me do everything. Anyway. And I will tell you, I'm learning that cutting out these really skinny pieces fussy cut wise is a little bit of a challenge because there's no substance to the paper. It wants to bend and swivel. So my advice is to not trim your paper as much as I did, but I trimmed out other tools out of the paper. If you had a little bit more to grip onto, it would be better. Or put it on a Post-it note. That would work too. Put a little Post-it note on it to hold it. Also will work. So anyway, so I fussy cut out one of them. This should be dry. We'll give it a, yeah, it's dry. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to my label. Sliding around. Whoa. Wow. Don't normally have that much slide. Anyway, put some dimensionals. I want to pop that up, and we're going to put some dimensionals behind our tools. And I've been having fun with this challenge. I really, honestly, genuinely have. Am I going to do it every month? No, I don't have the kind of time to go live every day. And nor does anyone need that much Sandy. Yesterday, I showed my face. I had my camera in a different position. I'm not able to tonight because of I'm going to put this one, so my card goes this way. I'm going to put this one on the inside, actually. Put a little bit of glue, just a light little bit underneath that. As my husband said, and I went into a long story on that yesterday. The turner, the screwdriver. I'm just going to go ahead and put that up on the left side. Like that. Also means you don't have to write as much. You could definitely stamp some more on there, but I'm not going to tonight. Again, this was supposed to be a fairly easy card. So here was my thinking when I was doing my planning, is I wanted, it's part of why I went with the shorter, the ruler, what do you call these? Tape measure. That's what it's called, tape measure. I cut this out thinking that'd go better above our greeting. Like that. Put, oh, yep. Put a dimensional underneath the, kind of the head of the wrench. Pliers, wrench, squeezer, also a squeezer. I got 2 squeezers, pliers. It wasn't planned that way, it wasn't my intention. Oh well. So what I like to do when I have something that doesn't quite fit what we have a dimensional size for, I take one of the edge pieces and cut this out to the size that I need. That's still not going to work. That's okay. You know what I'll do? Then I put it on the back, and we just come from the front and just make sure it doesn't show. And I think that needs, that's thin paper. I think it needs a little bit more substance than that. So we're going to take a dimensional edge, take a little bit of that. My tummy's in a happy zone tonight. We had homemade Phillies. We've only had homemade Phillies once before ever. And for whatever reason, I did a really, really, really good job tonight. Does that show? Nope. Okay. Let's go ahead and take that backing off the dimensional. Whoops. Whoops. Give them a good squeeze to make sure that they're attaching to the paper. Yeah, that could almost stand with a little bit more substance, but that's okay. It'll work. And I wanted that. Actually, you know what? Maybe it'll be better. Like that. What do you think? Like that? Doesn't have to be. We need some little bit of dimensional behind those wrench handle, the wrench handle. Yeah. And this is why I don't like mini dimensionals or even smaller dimensional pieces when they get too small. I have big hands and they just get harder to handle for me. That is all. Not that they're not doable, they're just a little more of a challenge for us big-handed people. Okay, there. We'll take that backing off. That's looking cute. So we're done with dimensionals. So then I brought over some of the classic matte dots as kind of an additional little embellishment. Always embellish. Really, I think I've maybe made 2 cards in my card making life that haven't had some kind of embellishment. Yeah, those gray ones would look pretty, but they kind of disappear on that paper. I'm thinking the small little Yeah, we could do that. Whew. I don't know. Nah, we'll put some out in the paper. The rule of odds, don't forget that. The rule of odds always when embellishing or arranging. It's just more pleasing. And make a visual triangle that draws the eye around. Anyway, I think that's it. So, yeah, I think that's it. So that is our card for tonight on Facebook with the inside. And then this was the one from Instagram yesterday. No idea what I'm doing tomorrow. I will figure that out. Those are cute. Again, minimal stamping, very minimal stamping, a lot of fussy cutting, but if you're only making one, you know, for those of you that love fussy cutting, you do you. Not my thing. Not even close to my thing. But I will do it for things once in a while. Anyway, I like the look. I'm pleased with this, and I think with that being said, whoops, we're going to call it a night, and I wish you all the best, and I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed these lives. They've been fun, and you like these two cards. Yeah, and this was on Instagram if you want to go catch up on that, and this is the Facebook one, and we'll see you tomorrow. That would be back on Instagram Live tomorrow at Needs a Ribbon. See ya. Have a good night. Bye.